And from Agbogbloshie, we're going to Sierra Leone because the country now has a total confirmed COVID-19 cases of 7 with total quarantine case of 205. The Sierra Leonean authorities aim to improve quarantine conditions and tighten security after reports of people leaving isolation areas. Let's engage Eric Kawa, who is a Sierra Leonean journalist and is joining us to speak to us on Skype. Eric, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us how many people have been affected by coronavirus in Sierra Leone, and do we know their condition?
All right, so far I can say everybody is affected in Sierra Leone, whether directly or indirectly. So speaking about the number of people who are actually now diagnosed with the COVID-19 case, there are about 7 confirmed cases as of today, and also there are about 205 people who are in quarantine, dropping down the figure to earlier one of 243 as of the 6th and 311 as of the 5th of this month.
And then take us through how the state of emergency is being implemented. Can people come out, and at what times and for how long?
Okay, so as it is now, the country just ended a 72-hour lockdown, which ended yesterday. And then, so the state of emergency is actually declared for here. And then that has affected a lot of social activity. And religious gatherings have also been banned, and social talking about learning and school institutions also, they are also on hold at the moment. So in the northern part of the country, that is in Gambia, which shares a border with neighboring Guinea, a curfew has been imposed, which is 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew, which was imposed about some few days ago. But generally, except for a lockdown, which we experienced just 3 days, the first lockdown, citizens are allowed to move about, but they're being told to be very much cautious. And shops, of course, and business centers are given a specific time in which they could close for a particular day. And then, but during the lockdown in general, only people who have got some accreditations, like media people and essential staff, that are allowed to actually ply the streets during lockdown. Everyone else is around, except for a few cases about having to do with water challenges during the lockdown, and some other few people were seen on the streets, which they had some scam issues with the security officers, and but that was also addressed, because yesterday I had an interview with the deputy head of media at the Sierra Leone Police, ASP Samuel Sayo Ponte. So he told me that they are putting those things in control.
So Eric, here in Ghana, we've had the security personnel on our streets ensuring that people comply with the directive, and we've had some form of casualties or some form of issues reported. How is it going in Sierra Leone?
Okay, so the security actually plays a very significant role in ensuring that they help in this fight, because citizens need to be sure that they work with the rules. However, there are rules that citizens should observe, like during the lockdown, some citizens were seen out on the street, and also some police officers have been going to the extreme, and we saw on the social media on videos which are actually all over the place about security personnel flogging people, and we saw one who was actually seen to be like mentally disturbed. He was beaten. So as I was mentioning earlier, I interviewed one of the head of the media, who is the deputy head of media, ASP Samuel Conte, and he told me that they condemn the action of the security, because before the lockdown, the security were told not to malhandle citizens, and then so he said that was a wrong one. They also condemned it, but also called on citizens to be aware that it is a state of emergency, and so many of the rights that people will be saying will not be that effective during a state of emergency. So people have been advised, but on the whole, we looking forward to seeing the security playing a very huge part, and also the people also complying with certain rules.
Okay, Eric, my final one will be, is the government planning to do mass testing, or what are the interventions put in place apart from the lockdown to contain the disease?
Okay, so far certain interventions have been with the restriction of movement of people, especially from other neighboring countries. So the flights have been grounded. Many flights have been grounded except for emergency situations. That is one aspect, and social gatherings and other stuff have been stopped. Citizens are anticipating for another lockdown, but so far we haven't heard anything from the president, because he addressed the nation this morning, in which he discussed about commended for Sierra Leoneans for taking part into the stuff, and they noted that the lockdown was meant for them to be able to assess the team of the COVID-19 team, and also do some tests of people who were identified as primary and secondary contact with the confirmed cases so far. So they did some certain tests with those people and potential new cases as well. And during the lockdown, the first day we got the first case, and the lockdown ended yesterday. But today another case was recorded. So we're looking for, maybe there will be mass tests. But for now, it's only about people who are under quarantine that we heard about testing so far.
Eric, thank you so much for making time for us. Eric Kawa is a Sierra Leonean journalist, and he was telling us the situation in Sierra Leone. Please take care of yourself and stay safe. This is The Stance on TV3. Let's come home, where the Esikado Ketan Sub-Metro Office of the Second Data